one of the most distinguished feminine figures in the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, and one of the most recognized on a professional, political, and associative level. Born in 1965 in the district of Kifa, Aicha VALL VERGES has a master's degree in management of the economic policies from the Institute of International Studies and Research for Development, Clermont-Ferrand in France. She has built up a rich, diverse experience on a professional, associative, and political level, and held the torch of women's rights defense for the past 24 years, when she first started working at the Ministry of Planning before she was promoted as a vice director at the Youth Promotion Agency, where she worked relentlessly for women to get a positive discrimination in loans, employment, and integration in the active life. As she became a Minister of New Technologies in 2008, she became more aware of women's cause, empowered by accurate statistics and indicators. After that, she was named the General Inspector of the State as the first Mauritanian woman to occupy such a position. During her time in this occupation, Aicha VALL VERGES pushed forward the file of women representation in the public institutions of the country and fought to double the financial budget destined to the women empowering. Later on, she was named the State Secretary for Social Affairs and Childhood and Family, which was a determinant point in her career, as it allowed her to have a closer view on the women's cause and the policies implemented to promote the access and defend the rights of this basic fringe of the society. On an associative level, Aicha VALL VERGES has a long experience as she worked for gender equality and the women access to decision-making positions, to education and health, especially in the domain of reproductive health, as well as their access to employment, which would grant them the financial independence, focusing in this matter on the suburban woman. This militant combat took a fundamental turn as she started and became at the head of the Feminine Preventive Health Association, knowing for sure that the healthy woman is a woman who is able to raise a strong generation that can beat the odds. This association became a successful framework to support women in areas such as health, collective work, and the management of micro-project studies, training, and education. And this is how Mrs. Aicha VALL VERGES, by the means of this NGO, serve women and be the godmother of a wide fringe of the feminine population for decades. Since the associative work is very interfering with charity, the NGO intervened in poor neighborhoods by distributing elementary products and building centers to feed children and persons with disabilities, with special needs, and orphans in order to get them involved in the active life. Politically, Aicha VALL, who is the president of the reunion of the Republican Party's National Feminine Commission, could change the way of the political work so it would become a continuous work and activity around the year, not just during the campaign season. She also believed in the need for training. That's how a wide group of the party's women had courses in other national languages besides their own mother tongues, and that in order to bring closer and break the boundaries between the country's different ethnicities. Inside her political party, Aicha VALL continued her associative work as she could achieve so many goals in combat to end the discrimination against women, as far as the right of salary equality and retirement, also adopting special measures for positive discrimination in favor of women to make easier their access to employment, scholarship, funding, habitation, amnesty, and sentence reduction, in addition to support women's access to decision-making positions, as the percentage of women in the government was about the third and about the quarter in the parliament, and more than 35% in communal councils, in addition to her work for women to access the function of judges. During this time, a framework law project was adopted in fighting gender-based violence. Mrs. Aicha VALL VERGES covered all the Mauritanian areas and attended forums, regroupments, festivals where she talked to women in a convincing, easy-to-understand language, hoping that they will change their reality to the better. Her words had special sounding, and those words work like magic, like fuel for women awakening militancy to live the freedom they deserve. Aicha VALL has such an ability, a clear vision that inspired her to become a candidate for the Committee of Elimination of All Kind of Discrimination Against Women membership. The accumulation of experiences that she gathered all along her professional, associative and political career will be put at the service of this international commission, according to the Sustainable Development Goals, in order to achieve ending the discrimination against women, worldwide conflict resolving and preventing, equality of genders, women's access to decision-making positions, education, health, and women empowerment, limitation of women poverty, and guaranteeing the family rights.